You're gonna see some serious shit.
He's forever burned into pop culture as Doc Brown, the wild-eyed genius who sent Marty McFly back to the future. But Christopher Lloyd's real life, it's full of strange turns, messy relationships, and one seriously personal mystery. He's been married multiple times, so how come he never had biological kids? Some have even asked, is he sterile? The truth behind that question is coming up. And just when you think he's gone quiet, Lloyd took a swing at Donald Trump, publicly. What did he say? Let's just say he didn't hold back. Marriages, rumors, and a political moment that caught everyone off guard. Every surprising detail is in this video. Buckle up, because Doc Brown's real story is wilder than time travel. Part 1. Role in Back to the Future and Cultural Impact. Doc Brown didn't walk. He sprinted, stumbled, flailed, and shouted his way across the screen like a storm with a lab coat. But beneath the wild hair and 1.21 gigawatts of energy, there was something more: heart. In Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd transformed what could have been a one-note mad scientist into one of cinema's most beloved, chaotic, and oddly tender characters. When Doc Brown introduced the DeLorean time machine, it wasn't just science fiction, it was instant mythology. Lloyd's portrayal wasn't grounded in realism, but in conviction. Every line, every expression, every shout of "Great Scott!" was infused with a kind of emotional logic. He played Doc as if every second mattered, because for Doc, it did. Critics and audiences responded immediately. He wasn't just comic relief, he was the emotional core of the trilogy. Doc Brown's friendship with Marty wasn't just plot, it was the pulse of the story. Their bond was built not on age or similarity, but on trust. And Lloyd made that believable, even in the middle of time travel paradoxes and flying trains. But before Lloyd was turning science fiction into pop culture history, his own story was quietly unfolding far from the spotlight, in a family of lawyers, where performance took a very different form. Part 2. Early life before Back to the Future. Christopher Allen Lloyd was born on October 22, 1938, in Stamford, Connecticut. He was the youngest of 7 children. His father was a lawyer, and his maternal grandfather was one of the founders of the Texaco Oil Company. The family was prominent, structured, and deeply rooted in tradition. Christopher, however, was wired a bit differently. He was shy, awkward, and often lost in his own head. As a child, he struggled to find his voice, literally. He battled a stammer and kept mostly to himself. But something shifted when he discovered theater. At age 14, he volunteered as an apprentice at the Westport Country Playhouse. That summer changed everything. On stage, he found a freedom he'd never known. His voice came alive. His body made sense. Acting wasn't about pretending, it was about escaping a version of himself he didn't yet understand. He later trained at the neighborhood playhouse in New York under the legendary Sanford Meisner. He wasn't fast to fame. He took his time, paying dues in theater, off-Broadway, and even construction work to pay the bills. By the time Hollywood came calling, Lloyd wasn't looking to be a star. He was looking to be someone else, again and again, with as much honesty as possible. Part 3. Career Before and After Back to the Future. Lloyd's film debut came in 1975 with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, playing the institutionalized Tabor. It was a small role with outsized impact. His raw intensity made him impossible to ignore. From there, he took a string of offbeat, often eccentric roles. He wasn't built for mainstream leads, and that was his superpower. In the early 80s, he found broader recognition as the burned-out cabbie Jim Ignatowski on the TV series Taxi. That role earned him 2 Emmy Awards and made him a cult favorite. But it was Back to the Future in 1985 that turned him into a household name. He reprised Doc Brown in 2 sequels, each time expanding the character with more emotion, absurdity, and depth. But he didn't stop there. Lloyd embraced genre work, voicing characters in animation, appearing in films like Clue, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, The Addams Family, and Dennis the Menace. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, he balanced smaller projects with big-budget films, maintaining a steady presence across decades. He made stage returns, guest starred on TV, and continued to defy categorization. Whether playing villains, oddballs, or heartfelt mentors, he remained deeply committed to the work, not the fame. Still, while Lloyd's career stayed steady, his personal life was far more unusual, marked by layered relationships, quiet choices, and a family dynamic all his own. Part 4. Personal Life and Off-Screen Truths. Christopher Lloyd's personal story has always unfolded outside the usual Hollywood playbook. Despite his many roles in family-friendly classics, he has never had biological children. He has, however, embraced a kind of chosen family. Through his current marriage to realtor Lisa Loyacono, he has a stepson, whose wedding he proudly attended in July 2023. Lloyd has been married 5 times. His current wife, Lisa, is 31 years his junior, a difference neither seems to mind. What makes the arrangement even more unique is Lisa's close friendship with Lloyd's 4th wife, screenwriter Jane Walker Wood. The two women are so close, they go on morning hikes together. Lloyd, ever the eccentric, has no issue with it. "I can deal with it," he said in an interview, "and I'm glad they're having fun." He's also been unafraid to voice strong opinions. In 2016, during the heat of the U.S. presidential election, Lloyd publicly criticized then-candidate Donald Trump, referring to him as a beast and expressing serious concern over his rise. While Lloyd has never built a public persona around activism, he's never hidden what he believes either. At home, Lloyd is quiet and reflective. He spends time reading, walking, and occasionally doing voice work or indie projects. He's never courted celebrity, and yet the public affection for him has only grown over time. As the years pass, his personal rhythm remains uniquely his own, low-key, a little odd, and entirely authentic. Part 5. In 2025, where is he now? At 86 years old in 2025, Christopher Lloyd remains a symbol of enduring creativity. He still makes selective appearances, on stage, in nostalgic reunions, and in quirky supporting roles that suit his energy. His voice, his timing, and that spark behind his eyes are all still there. He's become something of a generational bridge. For older audiences, he's a symbol of 80s and 90s storytelling. For younger viewers, he's the eccentric grandfather figure from animated series, sitcom cameos, or viral throwback videos. And for fans of Back to the Future, he's forever the man in the lab coat, rewiring time itself. He attends fan conventions, participates in retrospectives, and is often asked the same question: would you ever play Doc Brown again? His answer varies, but the twinkle in his eye rarely does. Christopher Lloyd didn't seek to be iconic, but through honesty, talent, and just the right amount of madness, he became one anyway. And in 2025, his legacy is as clear as ever. A man who made us laugh, made us think, and reminded us that the best characters don't follow formulas. They follow their own timelines. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss an update. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.